Are you thinking of buying a short-term rental, second home, vacation rental here in Santa Cruz County? Well, this video is a quick primer on all the things that you need to think about in this area. Hi, I'm Michele, Replogle, Coldwell Banker Realty. I've been doing real estate for about 20 years. And back then, you could just buy a house and, pretty much do whatever you wanted with it. I mean, the city, I think Santa Cruz City has always been really rental should only be 30 days or more. I think there might have been some of those on the books, maybe not. But, because of a few bad actors and a few apps, you know which ones I'm talking about, 500 plus people in a really teeny house in a really crowded, small, tight neighborhood. And all of a sudden, you got vacation home restrictions. So there's some things you need to think of. You got to really consider when you're looking at a house. Like, you can't just go in a house, oh, I love this, I want to just short-term rental it. It's not that simple. I mean, there's some things you got to think about. So short-term rental, 29 days or less. First up, what area? You really have to think about what area, because there's some areas where you can just kind of do it and you might still have to wait for a permit, but the whole neighborhood is conducive to it. For example, I'll say some areas of La Selva Beach, for La Selva Beach people, don't throw me under the bus for this, but I'm going to say to you, some areas are used to having a lot of people kind of come and go. The area I live in is all pretty much, I think 95% of all the people that live in my neighborhood own the house. So it's a little harder here. And there's just some neighborhoods that have had a lot of rentals and they've had a lot of people come and go. So area is a big consideration. Next, I'm going to recommend absolutely that you call the county of Santa Cruz or even the city of Capitola and make sure you understand the area that you're buying in and what the restrictions are there and what wait is for a permit. For instance, right now there's 41 people on the list for the countywide. So you could say, okay, that's great, but what about this particular area? Because they can help you kind of drill down, because I did it last year for Aptos. I had some questions about Aptos, and they told me right away. So I recommend people do that really kind of in conjunction with looking and understanding the permit process, because I am always going to advise that you do it by the book, and I know people don't. But you could run afoul of the neighbors and they could make things very difficult for you. So I'm going to recommend that you look into getting the permit, calling these different entities and or emailing them, and just finding out about what that is going to entail to get a permit. But you could also look at rental communities that actually were built to have short-term rentals. Seascape Resort, Pajaro Dunes. They were built for short-term rentals. They will even help you rent them and maintain them and clean them and make sure all the neighbors are happy. So you could do something like that. Or you could find some condos, which are also pretty much South County, that do allow short-term rentals. And you could buy those and get a permit for those. Some of them are easier than others. One of them is on Ocean View Drive. I sold one in there. They had a permit, and I believe that whole complex was actually fairly easy. Might be more restrictive now, but at the time it was. And I talked to a management company that rented quite a few down there. And, they told me that the people who succeed really with short-term and vacation rentals are the ones that hire management companies. And they weren't saying them particularly. They said it's just they maintain neighbor relationships. They keep them clean. They alert you to any larger maintenance issues that you want to, keep track of. And they rent them more than you can, and they vet the people that are going to rent them. So that's kind of a huge tip, is you would have to spend probably as much time one time finding a good management company than you would a good tenant or short-term renter, because we know some of these companies haven't done the best job of vetting the people that are going to come through your home. There are different kinds of rentals. So make sure you know, are you going to be okay with a condo? People don't like HOAs, but at the same time, they take care of the property. If you want to do it in a house, you know that you could be looking up to maybe a year and a half or maybe even a bit more to get that permit. So make sure that you know that going in, buying that second home to vacation rental, that you could find some roadblocks. Then on top of the permit process and maybe even property management, hopefully the property management company would help you work with the transit occupancy taxes that you will need to pay. I believe right now it is 12%. It's just like any tax that you pay on any hotel you go pretty much all over the world, that you would have to pay that as well. In the city of Capitola, you actually have to keep a ledger that says whether you rent it or not. I think by month is when they want that. So there's really no way to kind of sneak into Santa Cruz to afford to buy a house here as a second home because you're going to rent it. There are a few bumps in the way of actually getting that rental property. But it's just important to know the areas that you want to do it in, understand the local laws, be prepared to pay taxes, cleaning charges, and maintenance, and probably do a little bit more work than you thought, because you thought, well, I'm going to buy the place. Can't I just give it to the property management and they'll do it? Well, they need that permit as well. So, when you do all that, you might do very well. And some people have too. And like I said, the longer you keep that rental, the easier it gets. So, hey, I've listed stuff below for you. I've got a couple links there on some website you might want to go check so you understand the government regulations. I also have a buyer and seller guide there for you. My information, if you want to contact me, like, share, and comment on my content. I would certainly appreciate that. And if you want any more information about Santa Cruz, check out my Instagram and Twitter. They have a lot of information there too. Look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much. Bye.